Sakaya, sometimes erroneously called Buddha. He lived about 2600 years before Cosmon, and was born in India. He held to the doctrine of one great spirit only. He was of sub-cycle rank. The term Buddha was wrongly attached to him by his followers hundreds of years after his death. He taught that man's highest attainment was to live for sake of others, and not for oneself.
Chapter 24. Sakaya was born in Hagotha, province of Naowan, on the borders of Nepal, but because his birth had been foretold by the faith's prophets, and that he would re-establish the doctrines of Kapilya, the place of his birth was afterward called Kapilayawata. Sakaya's father's name was Matanga, and he was of the 12th generation of Suddhadana, that is, of pure vegetable food. During which time none of his forefathers ate fish or flesh, or of anything that breathed the breath of life. Matanga was very old when Sakaya was born, but the wife of Matanga was but 15 years old, for which reason the people nicknamed the child Srimanagatama, that is, passionless from father and mother. Matanga was high father of the province of Naowan. Consequently, Sakaya was born a prince, as commanded of Jivai, in heaven he should be. Wherein he said,
He that I will raise up shall have the glory of the earth before him, and he shall grow up as learned as a king and a priest, and he shall re-establish peace and goodwill on earth.
Now there had been bloody times in Vainu, that is, India, for 400 years, during which time a warring sect, who falsely called themselves Brahmins, had overrun the land with sword and spear, lance, and fire, destroying temples, oracles, and languages. These were the destructions, previously mentioned, done by the god Kabalaktes, mortals supposing they were under the god Brahma. God, Jivai's son, had said to Eskra, chief guardian angel over Sakaya,
Thou shalt cause thy ward to learn Brahmanism, asceticism, and all other religions.
Thus was Sakaya educated, and at 12 years of age, he took vows of Brahmanism. At 15, he desired to acquire the ecstatic state, and he joined a band of 7 Brahmin priests, and went about for 3 years with the alms bowl, begging for the poor, living as the poor, and fasting, and praying, and studying with his teachers and priests. And, yet for other 4 years, he excluded himself from speech, save to the Holy Ghost, dwelling out of doors, night and day. But Jivai suffered not the ecstatic state to come to Sakaya. And one night, his guardian angel, Eskra, spake to him in a dream, saying,
Behold, I am Jehovah, and not the Holy Ghost. Why hast thou put me off? Did I not create thee alive, and make thee a person also? Thou art born of the race of Suddhadana. Thy labor is not to seek the ecstatic state for thyself, which is selfishness, but to renew my light on earth. Therefore, give up this, thy most useless life of going about praying, and return thou to thy father's house, and take thee a wife. For how canst thou attain the wisdom of the earth, without becoming a husband and father?
Sakaya awoke, remembering his dream, and he told it to his priests, and asked them to interpret it. And they said unto him, This was not a dream, but the voice of Satan, put thou it aside. But Sakaya was more convinced of his dream than of his priests, and he, therefore, gave up his fasting and praying, and returned to his father's house, saying, Father, thou art wise after the manner of thy generations. Henceforth I will be no more a priest, nor in fact a Brahmin, for that matter, but pursue thy doctrines, which are of deeds more than words. Thou shalt, therefore, choose me a wife, for I will wed, and become a father. So Sakaya wed, and his wife bore him a son. When he looked upon the child, he said, Thou art the greatest of sermons. Now, because of the strange life Sakaya had lived. Being a prince, he was the wonder of the city of Hagotha, and was much loved by the people, especially the poor, for his alms bowl had oft relieved them from hunger. Consequently, when it was known he was a father, there came before the royal palace thousands of the poor, singing songs of praise to Sakaya, and his child, and his wife. And the poor women had infants in their arms. When Sakaya saw the infants, he burst into tears, and came out before the multitude, and spake to them, saying, "This day I have sinned before heaven and earth. Behold my tears. Would that they were drops of blood, and I could shed them to do you good. For I have looked upon mine own son, and said within my soul, This is mine. And I considered how my son was born a prince, and above want, but I considered not this great multitude of babes, who have no assurance against starvation. Why, then, shall I remain with one, who hath sure provision, and glut myself in ease, and the selfish joy of my own house, and leave this multitude of babes to the hazard of precarious life? Is not Sakaya of broader soul than this? Have I any right to bring more children into the world, until I have provided sure happiness to them, that are already born? What is my family and my kingdom, though I win the land from Yaganosa to the ocean, if this burning within mine own soul will not away, but crieth out forever, Heal thou the sick earth? From this time forth do I covenant with thee, thou all light, to give up all the earth, and to serve thee. Beasts can bring forth young, and they do set their hearts on their begotten only. Thy light moveth me to a more noble course. This day I quit the earth and the passions for earthly things, I will be thy son, O Jehovah. And all my days henceforth on the earth labor, to ameliorate, i.e., to make better, thy abundant offspring. Behold these young babes turned upon me, with thy smile, O Jehovah, in their innocent faces, calling to me, Help! Help!